Hi guys, Zach here with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 2v2 match on the map The Neck. I'm starting in the top right position playing as the Allies. Now for those of you who don't know this map, you've sort of like got right and left, and there's a narrow gap separating right and left, just like a narrow strip of land. And that's like obviously where most of the fighting is going to take place in this game, and it's sort of like, yeah, just trying to fight either side. Now, usually what you do have is you quite often have a Soviet player playing at the front, and that's because they can build very strong base defences, things like Tesla coils, flame towers. Flame towers very effective against infantry, Tesla coils very effective against tanks and any like motored vehicle. I guess you can counter them with missile launchers a little bit. But first of all, we're bringing our infantry right to the front, and that's what yellow should have really been doing as well, because you can see red have got very far forward with their infantry lot. And if they have grenadiers, that could be like a bit of a problem for us, because their grenadiers can like throw grenades a bit further than riflemen can shoot. And you can see them going for the straight, they were going for straight ore refinery without building a barracks, which I think was a bit of a mistake. And now they've built a radar dome, and I think they'll probably be low on power because they haven't built like as much, because radar dome does take a little bit of power. I'm not 100% sure though on that. Anyway, I've got my war factory down and I'm starting to build two ore trucks now, just to build up a good, strong economy. And you can see Cyan there bringing infantry person forward, but we're able to take out that no problem. And yeah, what I'm doing is I've just expanded to these different ore patches. I'm going for my second ore refinery before I go for my second war factory, just because I need to build up that good economy if I want to keep on producing. And as soon as I build that like second ore truck, I'm going to be starting to produce tanks. And I'm building medium tanks in this game. They're a bit more sturdy, and I think they do better like in tank-on-tank battles, which you're generally going to have in the middle of the map. And you don't see this map like hosted nowadays very much at all. It's like a 6-player map. You can have 3 teams on either side. It did get like quite a lot of hosting when the game was relatively new. I guess though with this map there's not like... I guess there are a few strategies you can make, because I guess it's sort of like a hybrid map sort of. When you have allied players you can go for the water, because you'll see that obviously there's a narrow strip of land in the middle, and if you have navy either side it can be a bit devastating, especially against a Soviet player who's like starts next to the water patches. I'm a bit further back, I'm playing as the Allies though, so I am going to be able to invest in water if I see that as necessary at any part of the game. But now I'm just getting like a little bit of a uncovering the map on my side and just expanding out my economy. And you can see my yellow teammate there building some ore silos, and I think he's trying to expand forward a little bit. So I don't know whether he's going to try and build a sub pen, or whether he's going to try and put a Tesla coil placed a bit forward. And yeah, we're just getting as many... As soon as I build tanks, you can just see me moving them to the front, because that's where you want your tanks to be. You need them for defence. I don't want yellow to get attacked and then realise my tanks are in my base. And yeah, you can see yellow building another ore truck. And I've just expanded to the left now to another ore patch, and now yellow's started to build heavy tanks. So yeah, I'm just expanded towards that next ore patch. And when my economy gets good enough, because I have got double war factory production now, I can start thinking about building some navy, because that'll be very effective, especially with a Soviet player at the other side of that gap, because their Soviet players probably going to have Tesla coils as well. And you can see yellow now with that Tesla coil there, so we've got a bit more defence. And those when you use Tesla coils with tanks, they are very, very effective. Although I probably would have preferred that like Tesla coil maybe just like a little bit back, just so it's not right at the front, because one thing Tesla coils do is they have very low HP. And now I'm just bringing a tank forward just to see what we have there, and I did get fired on by a Tesla coil there, so it does show that the red player does have a defence there. So yeah, I'm going to have to be careful in this match. I'm just having a look at that ore patch, and it does look like quite decimated. So I'm going to take one of my ore trucks to that one of the ore patches further down. And yellow he's quit the game. Now I do see that, I see that missile launcher, but surely that missile launcher couldn't have done that much damage. He just, I don't know if it fired on the Tesla coil and then he thought, oh, it's got a longer range, I'm going to quit. I don't know. But he's left the game for, really, like, for no reason, really. Like, yeah, you can't really say it's a war game, so people are going to attack you. And yeah, I don't know anyway. He didn't say anything. He's just left the game. So now it's just me fighting the two other players. So we've got a Soviet player at the front called Rambo 76. It's like a different Rambo to the Rambo that usually plays in my games. You probably notice he's playing as a red as well. So it's certainly not the Rambo that always plays green when I play in my usual games. And we've also got Anjima, who's playing at the back, but they're playing as an allied player. And now I'm going to be building a bit of a navy just to give me a bit of like help, because if I just fire all those medium tanks in and they've got a big tank force with Teslas behind them, I'm going to probably get slaughtered a little bit. So first of all, I can already build destroyers, but I want to get some destroyers out just to make sure I've got water control of that top part of the map. And once I build a tech centre, then I'm going to be able to build cruisers. And in order to do that, I'm going to get a radar dome. So it's also going to help me see what's going on in other parts of the map. Although radar domes aren't as useful on this sort of map, because you obviously know where your enemy's coming from. You're not going to like get attacked from behind your base or anything like that. But it'll be useful to see what's going on anyway. And we can see those red tanks now pulling back as they realise I do have a naval force which is helping with the attack. I just don't want to get too far forward at the moment, because I do know they do have those Tesla coils in the base. But we are getting some destroyers out, and I will be able to have a check of the rest of that top part of the water, just to make sure there's no other allied ships there, or any submarines for that matter. And now we've got our tech centre out, we're going to be able to build cruisers, and we'll also get a satellite if the game goes on long enough. And hopefully, if I can get control of the water, then I will be in a very good position, because I'll be able to do so much damage to that like front pillar. And you can see as soon as he brings his tanks, he's bringing his tanks forward now, it seems like it's going to be a big battle. So now it's heavy tanks against medium tanks. I do have the better force, and because he's came to me, he's sort of like going through like sort of a narrow patch, which is sort of like, I think, made it easier for me initially. It does have some missile launchers behind though, so we will need to be able to take those out. And yeah, it looks like we're getting the upper hand here, and red is on the retreat. Cyan probably should have come in for backup, but you can see I've still got a lot of those medium tanks left. And now I'm starting to get those cruisers, and this is where it starts to get tricky for red, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to send those cruisers to attack that Tesla coil. And that's the big advantage allied players have on this map. They can build like ships, and I'm going to be able to fire on that Tesla coil. It'll also fire on tanks as well and do damage to them. And the thing about the cruisers is they have a massive range. It's not like you're going to be able to fight them with missile launchers or tanks, because the range is just too far and they won't reach. Also, missile launchers can be like taken down in like a couple of shots with these things, and you can see that Tesla coil looks like it's going down now. And yeah, what we're going to do is we're just going to like try and get as much visibility as we can, and then just start using those cruisers to do some major damage to our opponents. And you can see Cyan there with a bunch of tanks, so we'll try and take them out as well and do a bit of damage there. And you can see Cyan's actually using quite a few light tanks, and light tanks do have very low HP, so they should be easy to take out. But now Cyan coming in with the Air Force, the helicopters, and we'll have to see what they decide to go for. Cyan possibly does have satellite as well. And first of all, they've taken out a war was that a war factory? Oh, it was a tech centre, so I'd want to get satellite. And now they've taken out my construction yard. And it's sort of like lucky that I didn't get satellite, because obviously, yeah, I would have got all my visibility would have gone. And now we're going on the attack on red, because it's only a matter of time now that Cyan has helicopters that they're going to be able to attack. And I'm just going to go for an all-out attack and hope it goes well. Because you can see those helicopters just streaming in, and you can see red don't have much to defend. We're getting rid of the main buildings. We're going to take out the construction yard. That looks like it's going to go down, so red's not going to be able to build anymore, and we're taking out those production buildings. And I think red is pretty much done for now, because they don't have the tag numbers. They lost too many in that early engagement. And you can see red with the radar dome and the tech centre, and have also started to build an air force. And the Air Force is expensive. You can see, yeah, they've built 4 planes there. And now we're going to be able to take out those airfields. And that is going to be pretty much good game for red. There's no way they can come back from this. We're taking out most of the buildings. I think that might be the last building we'll have to see. And that is red out of the game. So now it's just Cyan left. And we're going to have to see how much they have. They do have a lot of helicopters. And we are sort of in like a race against time. And you can see that helicopter mass, it's just growing bigger and bigger, and it looks like they're going to be taking out more and more buildings. I actually thought they were going to go for a barracks, which I haven't gone for yet. That's why I didn't build rocket men, because I thought as soon as they'd just take out the barracks. But it looks like they're going for the buildings. And that war factory goes down now, and that means I've got no more war factories. And now it looks like they're going to take out the barracks. I probably could have had time to build rocket men, but it's one of those things, and I'm getting like funds now, but I mean, it's not going to be too much of a big deal. But now we're being able to take out those charging centres, those helipads which helicopters need to charge, and now we're going to take out those helicopters, and you can see loads of those helicopters going down. So that's a lot of funds in the bin for Cyan. And yeah, they won't be able to recharge now, so I'm probably going to be quite safe from air attacks. And you can see we do have some air defence in the form of destroyers. And you can see those still lots of helicopters lying there. And I'm just going to take them all out. I think helicopters are quite expensive as well, so it's going to cost Cyan a lot of all this. Although obviously Cyan's not going to be building any more helicopters because they don't have a helipad anymore, I don't think, unless they've got one in the back of the main base. So now the question is, can I destroy the whole of Cyan's base without losing tanks? And you can see Cyan going on the attack. And this is probably something I need to go back to defend, because what Cyan's done is with those helicopters, they've taken out my main buildings, they've taken out my war factories, they've taken out a construction yard, and those are the buildings that take a long time to destroy. The other buildings are a bit quicker. Okay, the oil refineries might take a little while, but it depends on how much Cyan's got in the main base. So I'm going to need to pull back here and defend. I don't want to take the risk. I do have the better tank force, so I will be able to destroy all of Cyan's tanks. And you can see Cyan now going for that barracks finally. So they might finally take out that barracks. I was just trying to get a Tanya out there. I do have a Tanya going in here though, and I'm going to take the Tanya to the base and see if I'm going to be able to destroy any of those buildings. And Cyan bringing a large force of medium tanks forward, so they've still got decent production. So I'm going to need to see what this Tanya can do. Can they get any of the major buildings? Managing to weave through those tanks as well, fortunately, because obviously I didn't want to get squashed. And we can see a war factory there, which I'm going to go for straight away. Let's see what else we can take out. Also an oil refinery there. We can see they do have some helicopters back there as well, taking out some ore silos. And you can see Cyan looks like they've got plenty of funds. And we're going to try and take out this war factory. This is probably quite a big one. And it goes down. Now, I don't know if Cyan will have 3 war factories. They may not. So we've certainly crippled the tank building speed quite a bit. And now I'm just trying to take out some of these tanks in the main part of my base, because they've got quite a few there. They've done quite a bit of damage, but I still do have quite a few buildings left. So I'm leaving some tank forces at home to defend. I'm also taking some tanks forward to Cyan's base. And it looks like they're trying to focus on the major buildings. They're focusing on ore refineries at the moment, but that's not going to really make much of a difference, because I mean, all my production buildings are gone, so I don't have anything to actually spend ore on anymore, which is why I've got it stacked up to absolutely loads. And at this point, I can't really see Cyan coming back. We managed to clear that force up in our base, and we're in their base. I I think what Cyan probably could have done in this, instead of building a Air Force, I think Cyan, because this was two of them, as soon as Yellow dropped out, I think Cyan could have possibly won if Cyan had just invested everything in the water. Like, just built loads of destroyers, also built on the south side as well. And I think if they'd done that, I would have had a very hard time. Because the reason I was able to destroy Red so easily was because I had naval supremacy. But if Cyan could focus all the funds on Navy, and then Red could focus all the funds on defence with Tesla and tanks, I think then that could have changed the game. So I do think there possibly was a way that Cyan and Red could have won that game. And now you can see Cyan's losing the buildings, and it looks like that's going to be a good game. You can see they've got no more production, and it's the last few buildings, and Cyan taps out. So that is a good game. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.